Each year, some 22,000 climbers attempt to surmount the natural monumental structure that is Mount Kilimanjaro. This endeavour stretches every adventurer's mental, physical and spiritual capacity to achieve this feat. But what is it that makes a person endure hardships to get to the top? Mount Kilimanjaro lies on the border of Tanzania and Kenya, just south of the equator, and is the highest mountain in Africa. Originally, Kilimanjaro physical and spiritual presence mesmerised the pastoralists of the Wachaga that settled at its base 300 years ago, long before the adventurer was drawn to its snow-capped peak. Trips to the summit begin at 1,800 metres through the dense skirt of African montane forest that encircles the whole mountain. This forest zone is the richest, and 96% of water on the mountain originates through this region. Reaching 5,895 metres into the sky, Kilimanjaro is the world's largest volcano and the highest freestanding mountain on Earth. On the 5th of October, 1989, did Dr. Hans Meyer finally stand on the highest point. It took him and his expedition team almost 6 weeks to reach the summit. With at least 3 porters per person hired to carry gear, cook and set up camp. But the physical and mental endurance suffered by the modern adventurer is still the same. Only today, it takes between 5 to 7 days for a climber to reach the top. 6 times shorter than the first alpinist. There are several routes to the top of Kilimanjaro, the most scenic and less utilised being the Western Machame route. As the climbers slowly make their way through the barren landscape, the porters hurry ahead to prepare lunch before the hikers arrive. Cooks use kerosene stoves to avoid burning wood when preparing meals in an attempt to keep the mountain clean and limit any environmental impact. The trail eases along the rock formations of Shira Cathedral, that was once part of the 3 craters 750,000 years ago. Subsequently, Mawenzi and Shira blew their tops, and today appear as jagged subsidiary peaks. Kibo, the third and most impressive of the 3 craters, now looms over the tented campsite at Shira. On the 3rd day, the climbers awake as the sun touches Mount Meru, rising above the sea of clouds, while Kilimanjaro casts its imposing shadow below. Most climbers spend this day acclimatizing to the high altitude. By now, most are experiencing mild altitude sickness in the form of shortness of breath and even severe headaches. Every task, even the simplest one, becomes a major chore and the mountain seems unreachable. Day 4, the summit looms closer, overshadowing the climbers, boring into their minds and souls. Will they make it to the top? The slope is steep, the cliffs above seem indomitable, and the glaciers cold and ominous. As the air becomes noticeably thinner, the men begin what has become known as the Kili Shuffle, a rhythmic dance of huffing and puffing while slowly taking one step at a time. Climbing now has become a mammoth task. Effortlessly, the porters push on to set up camp on the high desert slopes and prepare the climbers' last meal before their most challenging day. The conditions in this region are extreme, making it difficult for any plant life to survive on the lava rocks. Step by step, the climbers follow slowly, reaching the base of Kibo crater. As the sun is sandwiched between two layers of clouds and the thin and cold air penetrates through to their bones, the tired men gather around their guide.
It will take us 6 to 7 hours in the summit.
This is their last briefing. In a few hours they will be woken up to begin their final ascent. The last 1,000 meters to the top of Kilimanjaro are covered in total darkness. "6 hours to the top, an exhausting and seemingly eternal time. Some climbers may feel the symptoms of acute mountain sickness caused by the lack of oxygen at high altitude, and a condition the local thought was brought on by the fury of the gods. At sunrise on day 5, Uhuru Peak, the top of Africa. Exhausted, breathless, and tight-chested, the climbers have achieved their goal. Some have done it for personal and emotional reasons, some because it's their job, and many climb Kilimanjaro because it's there. Kilimanjaro has intrigued modern man for the past century. Be sure to visit this world-class mountain